Hare Krishna, everybody, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So there was a prerequisite for the class today. Does anyone remember that? And once your prerequisite is ready, I'll start with Mangalacharan.
Book and a pencil. Pen.
I have an amazing team. Yes, a book and a pencil or a paper and a pen, because we are going to start with a self-assessment test. So I would want each one of you to have a book and a pen and a pencil or whatever. I'm not going to ask the marks, but it is very important that you very honestly do this, because you can fool anyone except two. One is Paramatma, you cannot fool, and yourself you should not fool. Because if each one of us try to fool ourselves, then we will not know which direction we are going. So my only request is be honest. I will not ask you the marks. I will not ask you your score, but it is very important that we understand where we are. And which is why I wanted the admins also to do this. I'm not sure if they've already done. Even if they have done, I want them to do. And all of you to do, even if you have done it in 18 days, level 1. Because if you've done, you will know where you are. And if you know currently where you are, think what was your score earlier when you did it, let's say about 4 months back, because this course is about a 4 months course, 4 to 5 months course. So you would have done it in your 18 day, because normally when I take the class, even level 1, I try and do this, but it really helps to understand where we are. So this is about a self-scoring exercise. And before that, let me start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chevu Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jagat Ujiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistuki. Hare Krishna. You will be wondering, why is this sloka introduced? So I want to know from you all. I think I did it once, so I'm asking again. For when do you chant this sloka in place of Mangalachara in the beginning? So can anyone tell me when do you? Because 18 days you have literally been through me chanting a different sloka, which I'm going to chant. But this is a particular sloka we chant before something. So you're muted, Krishna. Oh, I was just wondering.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Mataji.
Thank you so much. I was wondering why so much of silence, Srimad Bhagavatam. And I would like to tell each one of you, please start reading Srimad Bhagavatam if you haven't read. And if you have started reading, I thank you. Because during college, do you remember this famous dialogue which we tell? Please, if you have gone to this place, you know you're missing something in life. Or if you don't have this dress, if you don't have this, oh my God, you've not seen something. Yes or no? But if you do not read Srimad Bhagavatam, right, I'll tell you, you're really missing something. And the reason I'm saying this is because personally, I'm never a book reader. The only book I have read is either if it's my study books or management books, which are again related to my study profile. Is Enid Blyton or Nancy too? I think Nancy too. Yeah, is the only books I read in my life. And for me, I can't let a single day pass without reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's like a real addiction. For someone like me, if it is an addiction, for someone like you, most of you will love to read books, definitely more than mine. So we'll really enjoy, because this has everything. This has love story, this has politics, this has war, this has fights, this has the bad side of a person, good side of a person, the reality check, someone whom you feel is too good to be true, someone whom you feel is too bad to really ponder, are people like this also? So, and it's true story, right? We are so obsessed with true stories. So I would like to tell you that this is a true story, because the very thought that it's a very true story makes us do something, right? If a book has a true story, we want to read it. If there is a, there is this movie called Impossible, and not Mission Impossible, and we were very curious to know, because they said it's about tsunami and post-tsunami effect. So I'm not a movie freak, and even I wanted to see the movie. Why I'm saying, yeah, so you want to know what's happening. So Bhagavatam is that. And now we all of us love stories which have the previous Janma, the past Janma, right? Reincarnation. Even though we may feel it's not true. But Srimad Bhagavatam has stories which talk about the previous Janma, sometimes present, future also. There are some stories. And these are again true stories, right? So it is a very beautiful story with philosophy and all that. So if at all we are speaking something which you feel that we know a little more than you, it's only because of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we have not done anything beyond. We all started, all of us, I'm telling, we've all started a year or year and a half, 4. And we just started like you all with Bhagavad Gita. The only knowledge which we are sharing is probably because the book outside Srimad Bhagavatam, outside Bhagavad Gita, if we have read something, it's Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we are sharing something in the form of story or this, it's from here. So my only request is start reading and really relish. And it would be even better if you can read, you already Bhakti Viksha groups, create your own groups and start reading at a specific time. Not because there's a time constraint, but because you have regularity. Right now, back to our Mangalacharan and then our chapter 18. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopish Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivatsari
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
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 Rama Hare
Rama
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama Hare
Krishna. So now very quickly, does anyone remember which chapter we are in? Where we in?
18.
Or
Chapter
are
18.
we? Yes, and what is it called? What is it called? Let's pay our obeisance to Shri Radha Govinda. Yes?
Radha Govindaya.
Yes. What is the name of the chapter?
Perfection of renunciation.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Perfection of renunciation. So we are to see all of this where 1 and 212, which is acting with detachment, improve renunciation, and brings freedom from reaction. So he is talking about what is Tyaga and what is sannyasa. Most of the results is called Tyaga. And so we all know working in Krishna consciousness is also called renunciation. So we will give a link to that. And 13 to 19, the conclusion of Sankhya and Vedanta. I will explain a quick summary when going through. 19 to 40 is entanglement of 3 modes, which we are going to see. And I would also like to see how much you're entangled. It's like the soap we use, we have what's called, right? We try to see the acidity in that, right? So like that, we want to do a lot of tests around things. A lot of things. Even your RO water is try and test the water quality. So like that, would you like to know your quality? How much you are entangled? Like when you're having fever, you put your thermometer. Even though you have fever, you would like to know how much, right? So do you like to know how much you are entangled in 3 modes? Yes or no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, only if we know how much we are entangled, we will know how to get out of that entanglement. So today's test is directly based on that. So it's 1940, which we'll usually cover. Hopefully 41 to 48. Worshipping the Lord. Professional work is true renunciation, brings freedom from reaction, right? So worshipping Lord through one's Okpeshwa. How can you do that? And from 49 to 55, from Jnana Yoga to pure devotion. So far, we were talking about Jnana Yoga or Karma Yoga. This is called Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Mishra means mixed, right? You have a mixed bhakti. Pure devotion is unalloyed bhakti. So I am jumping into section A, which we revised, wherein what he says is, I would like to know the purpose of renunciation which you call as Tyaga, and of the renounced order sannyasa. Krishna is talking about the difference. So far for us, sannyasa means running away into the forest. And if you are thinking of something else, you are Vidyachara. But if you are thinking of nothing but Krishna, then that is also sannyasi. But here he's saying that if you give up the results, that's called renunciation. That's called Tyaga. Fine. And that state, the frame of mind or the state which you are is called sannyasi. So sannyasa. And if I give you an example, you can understand. You have all these rajas, right? Yudhishthira or Prithu, or if you take the bigger Raja, Janaka Maharaj, they're all called Raja Rishi. Rishi is someone who has renounced, right? And why do you call? Because even though they are in the role of Raja, they have renounced everything. So one more thing is, some learned, all kinds of actors, right? Sometimes some so-called learned say that once you are, all your fruitive things, actually the difference between Vidya and Avidya is whatever we have learned are skills, which we are going to learn in Ishopanishad. Whereas whatever we learn spiritually are not the skills, but this is the actual Vidya, actual knowledge. So such a learned person. So why I said so-called is whatever we have learned, our degrees are all coming under the so-called knowledge. But the actual knowledge is that knowledge which we are gaining now, the spiritual knowledge. And they always say that so there are two kinds of people. So the so-called people keep telling that you should give up all fruitive activities, give up and run away, right? Become a sannyasi. But the sages who are the actual Vidya, right, Dhiras, tell that whatever happens, you should never give up your sacrifice, charity, and penance, right? So, so any stage. Now, yagna dana tapa should not be given at any time, is what is said. And we also saw the modes in which we do sacrifice, where we do it as a duty without expecting any results. When we actually do not want to do as a duty or anything and become, lethargy, then you're in the mode of ignorance. But whereas if you stop doing only because of the fact of discomfort, then there is a different story, and that comes under the fact of, passion. So this is what it is, both ignorance and passion. Okay, what is the difference? What is the similarity between ignorance and passion, and what is the difference?
Passion means with knowingly they do. Ignorance means like without our knowledge. Is it
not the English meaning?
No, ignorance is primarily illusion.
Illusion. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah. So the difference, okay, illusion is ignorance. Illusion. Ignorance is illusion, and in passion is
Rajas.
Rajas is fine, but what I was expecting is what is a common, not about the quality, but with respect to what we are doing. We saw mode of, in terms of duty. So what is the difference? Does the person in the mode of passion, how to react to duty? Do they do, they don't do, and what frame are they in?
First, they do for sense gratification.
Yeah, they do for sense gratification.
Expecting some results.
Yeah, expecting some results. That's also fine. But from what we read yesterday, right, they actually do not do actually duties only because of lack of, because they are scared, or, they have some difficulty. The only reason why they don't do. So the common thing is both between ignorance and passion. Yes, mostly they don't do the duty. But what you spoke is also right, which will come. So duty, when we say, is to the T. They work hard, yes, they work. But do they surrender the results? Maybe they won't. So they will do it with a lot of expectation. And mode of goodness is, yes, they do the prescribed duty only as a duty, and they don't expect a reward. So the thing in common which is given is both don't tend to do duties, ignorance, but there it's illusion, but here it's difficulty. Mainly when I'm telling duty, it's also related to spiritual. So do mode of passion, do japa, they want to do, right? But their determination is also there, but there will be some fear, right? When they get up early, they may feel that, oh my God, there's a challenge. They will want to wear the tilak, but they may feel that, oh my God, if I wear this tilak, I will, illusion though they will not even wear, but ignorance. But here they will tell, okay, if I wear a tilak, maybe, my meeting can go down, or somebody may comment, they may think I'm a you know, I'm what a typical villager. I'm just giving you a heads up on this. So this is what is happening. And what happens in the mode of goodness? They have nothing. They don't have eaten and they are already dhiras in Dhiran's order. By all this mode, right? What happens? Even intelligence, we just spoke about knowledge. We are speaking about intelligence, how it can be in the state. But all this, I told Mishra Bhakti, right? Mixed approval results in human body of 84 lakh species. So we saw this in section A. Now we are also going to move on to section B. And here we are talking about Sankhya. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And Vedanta, end of Veda. So we already saw this, right? 15.15. Sarvasya chaha iti sannivaso. I what? Oh, yesterday I forgot. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna. I told, please remind me, we'll chant at the end. So does anyone remember the 15.15 shloka? Is Meenakshi
Yes,
there?
yes, Mataji.
Does anyone know the 15.15 shloka?
Yes, Mataji.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead, Mataji. I would like to hear.
सर्वस्य चाहम हिति सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृति ज्ञान अपोहनम च वेदेश्च सर्वैर अहमेव वेद्यो वेदांत वेद विदेव चाहम.
Thank you so much. Very beautiful. So here Krishna says that the purpose of any Veda should be at the end to realize Krishna, and he is a compiler Vedanta with, right? He's aware of Veda with and Vedanta Krit. So compiler, so both compiler Vedanta Krit comes first. So basically, he's a compiler and the knower of Veda, which we saw in the 15th chapter. And what is happening here is the final conclusion is about the that everywhere Vedas are there. Now, invariably, you notice Krishna cites various Vedas and analyzes the 5 factors which are involved. Can someone tell me what are the 5 factors which are involved to help in performance of any activity?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the self, then its efforts.
The place, the senses,
This is called endeavor.
the
Place.
endeavor, senses, and the super soul.
And super soul.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chitra Mataji and Jaipal. Prabhu, of all the 5, which is the greatest?
Super soul.
The super soul, definitely.
Dominant one, right? So basically, by acting there, what happens? You're not active. So what karma comes when you go by the super soul? What is the name of karma? When you do things super soul, or when you give it to when you give the results to super soul, what is that karma called?
Karma.
Nishkama karma.
Nishkama karma.
Yeah, that is right. Nishkama karma. But Jaipal Prabhu, 100% right. That was our answer. That is our karma. The activity is called Nishkama karma. But the what karma you get is akarma. So what are we talking about? So we saw the performer, the senses, the endeavor, right? That is what you said, efforts, and ultimately the super soul. So we saw all this, and we also saw the austerity of the body, mind, and speech, which is for the actions. So we are having all this, the soul who is the actual doer. We read this in the 5th chapter also, who is the actual doer. That was a triangle where we have the soul, the doer, the super soul who is the sanctioner, and Prakriti. So here we are having 3 new elements, which are the place, senses, and the, now you will say senses, Mataji, what role senses has to play? That becomes an instrument for us to act. And right. So you see a particular ad, and you look at the opposite gender and get attracted, right? So the senses is the initial one which makes you get provoked towards it, and even to do the good activity. Sometimes senses are the major role. Example, japa. So what is japa? We engage all our senses. So even though it is material, I'm talking about our senses, which are eyes, sees, and we talk, we hear, and we even feel. So all this, right, even though it's material, the moment we are talking transcendental name, it all becomes, so it becomes that right action. So what is the difference between religion and irreligion?
When you follow the scriptures, it's called as religion. When you don't follow the scriptures, what is told in the scriptures?
When you follow the religion, it's called religious, and it's called thing. One more name for it is Devik, is also following scriptures, and Asurik is non-following scriptures. Now, this is when we are going to do exercise from 19 to 40, which means karma, modes that control all the activities. So what happens is one's work is going to be according to the 5 factors, which we just saw. And who control the 3 modes, right? So what are all the control factors? The 6 factors are being controlled by modes. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to score yourself for everything. One is on your left, you can start writing. Knowledge, that's the first one. Action, right? Performance of action. Understanding, determination, and happiness. These are the 6 broad, what do you call, rows under which you will start scoring yourself, right? So I repeat, knowledge, point 1, point 2 is action. So performance, one's performance, understanding, determination, and happiness. So each, how the modes play, and you can know which mode is predominantly high on which particular nature. I mean, which nature dominates on which particular quality. When it comes to knowledge, just which mode of yours dominates. So each one you will get to know. So the entire chapter between 19 to 66 talks about the yoga ladder, how you can slowly grow up in the yoga ladder. And now this yoga ladder is, we've read the Yoga Ruda stage and all that. That is different from this, because here you're not giving up and going into sannyasi as a forest, right? So here we are going to see how the modes play a role. And 41 to 48, we are going to see sakama to nishkama. So when I come there, I will ask you what the difference is, because we are all curious to get in yourself scored, I understand. And how do we, 49 to 50, nishkama through liberation, then through devotion. There are 2 things, right? So first you get nishkama through liberation, and then you get it focusing that into devotional service. 56 to 60, working in pure devotional service. How can someone work in pure devotional service, right? The 5 talks about unalloyed devotion. 61 to 63, the more confidential knowledge. What is the most? See, we've been hearing the most is the first one is the confidential knowledge. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And the most confidential knowledge is devotional service. So here the more confidential is surrender to soul, because devotional service, how should I do? How is taught here. 64 to 65 is the most. Becoming pure devotee of Krishna. So it's all these secrets are coming out in the chapter. All of you ready with the paper, pen, pencil?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Mataji.
Yes.
I need 3 of them, 3 of you all. Somebody read column. All the time you all read the first one, which is goodness. I want the same person to read passion, and I want the same person to read ignorance. Just because you're reading the content of ignorance does not mean that you become ignorant. It is just for the comfort. Can we have 3, just 3 hands raised? All for one for goodness. Yes, Niraja, Hare Krishna, Mataji, goodness. One more hand for passion.
I'm for ignorance.
That is so sweet. I thought we'll have no volunteers. Yes, Prabhu, you can take ignorance. And we have only 2 hands, Prabhu. Nobody wants to be in passion.
I took Chitra Mataji.
Chitra Mataji, passion. Super. Yes. Thank you so much. So we are starting. And your scoring is going to start. First one is based on modes, based on knowledge. 1, 2, 3. For a change, first rank is given to ignorance. Okay. And 3 is the highest score which you give for goodness. So I hope that's clear. So please do not do decimal. Do not put 2.3, 2.5 and all. Though I would love to. I did all this.
No, this question I could not understand, Mataji.
Because I've not given the question at all. I'm not yet given the question. I'm just explaining the scoring system. Question paper is not yet open properly.
Scoring is 10, 0 to 10, how it is?
Prabhu, what I'm telling you is the question is going to come in the various 6 modes, right? Now, 3 kinds of knowledge, right? Like knowledge based on the modes. How does it work? The question is not out. All I'm telling you is if you're in goodness, I'm going to put the content of goodness, which, Niraja Mataji is going to read. If you feel that content suits you, you give yourself a score of 3. Otherwise, if you feel the content to passion suits you, then you give yourself a score 2. If you feel both don't suit you and you're in ignorance, you will give yourself a score 1. So Niraja Mataji, 18.20, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existence, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So the knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature, right?
Hare
Hare Krishna. If you see, okay, do you relate any shloka of this? So basically, when you see everybody equal in one line.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Pandita Samdarshina.
Samdar.
Superb. Amazing. Which chapter is this?
7,
I don't remember.
6.
Chapter number 5.
Chapter 5.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Anybody knows?
Vidya Dadati Vinayam. No.
Sorry?
Vidya Dadati Vinayam, is it that?
No.
No. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Brahmanaste Gavi Hastini. Suni Chaiva Swapakeva Pandita Samadarshina. Right? Hare Krishna. Brahmana, Havi, Hastini. Brahmana means Brahmin. Havi means cow. Hastini, you all know. Elephant. Right? Suni Chaiva Swapakeva. So it's either dog or a dog. He sees everyone equally with equal vision. Samadarshinaha means sama, equal. Right? So somebody like that, please raise your hand or please give yourself a score of 3. I'm not there. So I'm not going to ask you who gave. So I told you, it's a very confidential scoring. So 18.21. Chitra Mataji, go ahead and read, please.
No, can I ask one thing?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is it this application of the knowledge whenever we see all kinds of various kinds of people or various kinds of creatures, or response in the sense that body, mind, and spirit all in consonance and thinking, everything is same? Is it that situation or just the knowledge?
There is no. The first one, Prabhu. Whatever you see. So you see when you're seeing. I'll tell you. Let's not even go to a dog eater and all, Prabhu. Just a normal person. Okay. I'm just being very practical. For us, when we meet a person, right? First thing which comes is what is the person, depending on the purpose, right? So it's very. I'm not telling it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying, right? We are getting into a quick analysis. Such an analysis they will not do. I'll give you a simple example, just for your understanding, right? I broke my hand sometime back. I had a shoulder dislocation, and so I come from a family of doctors. All of them are doctors, so I know the personal side of doctors, right? So I went to Apollo, and over there, I didn't. The course of treatment was not very favorable, though I started off the same day. So I just thought, I called my cousin. I said, I'm hungry. I want to walk out of Apollo. He said, yeah, go, no problem. He's a doctor himself. He said, yeah, go home. Will you drive home? I said, I'm planning to. He said, don't do that. Just, I'm sending my car and driver so you can go home. I said, okay. So I went home and I tried eating, but I think, I was sleeping over for 5 days with the dislocation. So, I really had cramps. I couldn't manage. So then they directed me to a sports doctor. Okay, he's a doctor, but he's into sports and all that. So, they can give you a quick relief, not to solve the problem, but at least for me to eat, because all the muscles get into a spasm. So why am I giving so much of grief is, the moment I entered, right, the doctor, I was like not very, I couldn't relate to him because he was wearing a tracksuit and a t-shirt. Okay, now he was nice, everything was nice. But the first thing I did is I finished it and I called my dad's friend. I told, uncle, is he really a doctor or is he like a physiotherapist? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell, Prabhu? It's not about talking wrong or bad, but you are so suspicious. So he said, no problem. This is batch number so-and-so, reference so-and-so, my batch. And he was my a junior. I know he did medicine and then he did something called sports medicine, which is not very prominent in India. So he went there and he was also a part of the cricket club and all this, right? So the very look of seeing someone in a t-shirt, that's it. Okay, gave me a feeling, maybe is he really a doctor or not? While actually speaking, there could be a very nicely dressed fake doctor whom I would have thought, amazing, this doctor, he's got a glass, he's got a strap, and he is wearing a doctor coat, perfect. He's only a doctor. Happens or not? You may not be the doctor, you may encounter somebody else. You may encounter a maid, a classic housewife. I know a friend of mine, she said that, there was somebody ringing a bell. And it happened to me also. So when she said I could relate, so someone rang a bell in Germany and I was there and I opened the door and there they don't speak English and I hardly know German. So I'm Deutsch. So I was trying to speak to her, and she was so beautifully dressed. She was wearing a white jean, sparkling white, and this is what I remember, and she was looking very pretty. And what she was trying to tell me is that she was a maid, and I just couldn't relate for 10 minutes straight. Okay, I just couldn't relate at all, because then I understood what she was telling because I was learning. So I understood what she said was maid, but then my heart could not relate, because for me, my representation of maid was very different, right? The basic thing which I will not expect my maid is to wear a white jean, because I'll be thinking, oh my God, because I will be thinking, oh, white jean on a rough day. Now, a maid's work is a rough day, right? Whatever style she uses, she's going to still, wash the clothes or vessels or whatever, So what I'm telling you is, can you understand what I'm telling you? So we are.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
just took with
Mataji.
human.
No,
Yes,
I understand that. It's a little bit of stereotyping, which happens generally in our minds. But okay, my question was very little different, and that is, let's say, a street dog which is coming, which is a practical situation in my case, where I allow the street dogs to come to the, in front of the house, but not entering the house, and also, I mean, treat them or feed them, etc. But at the same time, I'm also thinking that okay, I should wash it, So both the things, in the sense that thinking something, but at the same time not fully accepting the fact that.
Prabhu, again, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell is, I understand. See, there is a mode of goodness touching upon it, but you can differentiate. Can you understand what I'm telling? You're able to differentiate a street dog. You know it's a street dog. You may have I know where you're coming from. The idea of giving it a bath and all that may represent goodness. And that's called the Bodha Yagna. Okay, just in case you don't know. I also learned this, I think, 2 days ago. So I was telling my daughter, hey, you're doing Bodha Yagna. She said, is it so? Bodha Yagna, sorry, Bodha Yagna. She said, is it so? I said, taking care of the pet.
Yeah, Bhuta Yagya. Yes.
So you're doing that. So why I'm saying this is because, so that's a different thing. But the fact is, can you differentiate? So when I'm saying, I don't expect all of you to call the street dog and serve a food in the dining table. That's not what I'm telling. But do you even feel that there is Paramatma in the heart of the super soul? In that animal, which is very, I'm not talking about animal lovers. That's different. They will go hug the animal and kiss the animal. So I'm not getting there. I'm talking about irrespective of whatever.
No, got it.
Yeah, so that's the point which I'm saying.
Okay, I think that's understood.
Yeah, thank you so much. But I'm very happy you brought it up, because most of the time, this is what confuses people. They will tell, I don't differentiate people. And that's why I did not take example when I was telling mode of goodness for someone poor, because the first thing, they will come is, no, Mataji, I treat everybody equally. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about treating everybody equally is like you're talking about respect in today's time. So even if he's a driver or a maid, I don't insult them. That's not what we're saying. Can you identify the person is a driver and a maid? Finish. So you're out of 2, 3. You're moving to 21. Now you will see 21. You will understand. Chitra Mataji, please read.
Yes.
Read.
Yeah. That knowledge by which a different type of living entity is seen to be dwelling in different bodies is knowledge in the mode of passion.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you now see the statement. So now the knowledge is very clear that different type of living entity is seen in various bodies. So okay, this is what it is. Most of the time, you see, initially when we have not read Bhagavad Gita, we won't be here also. But once you start getting a little advanced, you will be able to relate. Okay, cat also, okay, maybe cat body is human body. Last time it was a human, or next time if it's doing little devotion, it will become human. All this starts working in our mind. So of course, I feel that it's a free will. You all decide which number after you read the first one. Yes, Jayapal, Prabhu, please go ahead.
I said, Siddharth.
Sorry, Prabhu, I got confused. Please go ahead and continue.
And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one's kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, right? We feel that you're attached to a particular type of work without knowing the actual truth. That is very meager. In both the cases, you may not know the truth, but you can see the difference between the first and the last, right? Here, you are just attached because you don't want to see a difference. Here, you don't know the difference. right? You are so much attached to only a typical kind of work without having jnana, right? Without having vidya, and is very, narrow-minded. He is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So you can pick the score. So if you're picked, I'm going to the next sheet, which is 3 kinds of, this is now based on knowledge, the modes, how they work with respect to knowledge. I'm going to the next. I hope you've scored. Yes or no? Have you all scored?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So now we are getting into action. I will go a little faster now. So action. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead and read.
Krishna Mataji. As for actions, that action in accordance with duty, which is performed without attachment, without love or hate, by one who has renounced fruitive results, is called action in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, the action where you do dutifully, you don't like or hate. It's like I'm working here, but I hate to work here. Yeah, oh, I love working here. Neither of that, right? You're not keen about hatred because you've renounced the fruits. Classic is I don't like to study. Very common for a student. I don't like to work for for any employee, male or female, right? I don't want to get back home. A typical mood. I don't want to go to work on Monday. That's all not there because you just do it as a matter of duty. That is said to be mode of goodness. Now we are going to passion. So if you're into that category, rate yourself 3.
But action, I'll read Mataji.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and which is enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion.
So action which is performed with, thank you so much, with great, but the great efforts they put for sense gratification. This is something which you're told. Typically, what do you mean by passion? I will work hard. They have that mentality that they work like dogs, no donkeys. Why do we say donkeys? Is because the way they will make a donkey, a muda run, is because they will tie a stick ahead of it. They will keep some grass, and the donkey keeps chasing the grass, and the donkey lifts so much, right? So much of grass for, so much of weight for the sake of grass. Now, this reminds me of a cute story I remembered long back. Just came in my mind. I'll share this with you. So there are 2 donkeys. They are talking to each other, actual donkeys, and and the 2 donkeys. One donkey is working so hard, and another donkey is not working at all. And that particular donkey which is working so hard is very happily working, and the other donkey is telling that why are you behaving like this, why are you so weird, why are you overworking? He said, because I could probably become a son-in-law of this house. Son-in-law, it's not a donkey family, it's like proper family. A man has got 2 donkeys, and this conversation is between the 2 donkeys, and they are saying, why, what is happening, how can you become a son-in-law? He said, you slept off and I was awake, and that's the advantage of being working so hard. So what is happening is you must be you can be a donkey, but you should be alert and you should work hard like me, and I'm telling you why. She said that last night, the boss had a fight with the daughter, and she said, he says, if you're going to be like this lazy and loitering, then I'm going to get you married to a donkey. And he told this to the daughter, typical style, right? We always tell, I'm going to get you married to a donkey. So she says, so that is a high possibility, and that's why I'm working hard to impress the boss. So this is a very, ironical story, but that's what we also do. We may think, actually, am I doing this? Yes, we are doing. Because you see, we are chasing between the various things, various people, various money, go abroad for some piece, like a promotion or whatever. Just 1 second. So Hare Krishna, and that action.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Is Prabhu?
No, I mean, before reading, I had some query, Mataji.
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, ask.
On, I mean, the first, yeah, I'm asking, yes, Mataji, on goodness as well as on passion.
Okay.
Actually, like what is happening is, it is talking about the full whole. That means or zero kind of a situation. Means, like there are situations where we do duties for the family. Let's say the family members, son, daughters, whatever. That time, perhaps there is no expectation. Most of the time, it may happen that okay, whatever is being done, whatever is done. Okay, fine. Ultimately, what will happen, fine, because this is my duty. On parents also the similar thing. However, in job, this doesn't happen, because in the job scenario we expect that whatever has been given as a task or has to be completed. If it is not complete, then expectation is there that why it is not complete. So it's a combination of both, whereas this is 18.23 is a 1 or 0 kind of scenario. That's what I was asking.
Prabhu, neither of your examples hold good in the way you're thinking, and I'm telling you this because you just told me the first example. So you're telling that you do not have expectations when it comes to your wife and children. Is my understanding right?
No, I don't. Yes, I don't have any expectation.
Right. So are you talking with respect to your wife or and children? Or are you talking about somebody else's children?
No, I'm talking about my own.
Yes. So when it
I'm
comes
not,
to your own, I wanted that word. So why do you do for them? Yes, I'm coming to that. So that is a matter of duty, which is fine, which is swadharma, which you have to do. But also one more thing, Prabhu, you are actually satisfying your own senses. Because this is the same topic which my mom tells, and correctly she left. She was here all while. So many times, Prabhu, how men or women understand is buying a jewelry for themselves is a material wish, right? Maybe I will relate it to a watch. If you go and buy a watch for yourself, then it is more thinking around you. Is my understanding right? Because my mom always quotes it, so I can understand this, which she has not.
Actually, I was saying, I got your point, Mataji. I was thinking aloud was that, let's say whatever we're doing, what I'm doing rather, I can't say, I can only vouch about myself. So, let's say I'm spending on education. I'm doing all sorts of running around for education, for everything. So I'm not expecting that, okay, after all this, something will happen, some good college will come or something come. Whatever happens. I mean, ultimately, I have to do it. In any case, I don't have a choice.
Thank you so much. So now, even I'm interrupting you because before that, one point which I want to highlight here is what I was trying to tell is whatever we are doing is extended self. That is what I'm saying. That's why I said my child. That's why I was talking to you again. When the moment you tell it's my wife, my husband, my child, why are you doing it? Because you derive some pleasure. Yes or no? It may be duty, but 99% we do it because we derive pleasure. Why do we buy a chocolate to a child or an ice cream for your own child? Because we get happiness out of it.
No, actually, in fact, I don't want to extend this too much because the entire class will get stranded otherwise. But point is, many times I also think that, okay, I don't want to do anything. But that time, what draws me back to the situation is that, no, this is your duty, what to do.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So if that is a feeling you have, see, I'm not getting into the context of whatever you're saying is applicable to all of us, because all of us, at least most of us here are married and we're all going through a very similar situation. Just breaking one point. So anything which you're doing for yourself, for your family, I will also take. For example, I'll take myself. I like Telugu a lot. So if someone talks to me in Telugu without knowing Telugu, I feel very uncomfortable because I'm a little fanatic on that. So again, I'm relating my language to myself. Do you understand? So when we say, are you having a national patriotism? Yes, Mata. I'm sure out of 50 here, at least 50 of them will raise their hand. 100%. I don't even want to ask. Okay, all this, can you relating to a particular segment? When you say your family, you're relating to a family, but I'm glad you brought this up. Otherwise, you're out of 51 to be precise. You relate to the religion or a caste or telling, you're a Hindu, you become a sectarian. So why am I saying this is because you are doing a extended self. You say when I'm doing my duty for my wife and children, I'm not expecting. When the my factor comes itself, it's like you're doing for yourself for your own satisfaction. Now the wife and children are also extended to yourself. Now you may feel extended, not extended. That's a different point. But the moment you are telling it's a duty, I'm glad if you're thinking it's a duty, but 99% we get joy out of doing it for them. So it is not in the mode of goodness, because I would still agree that it is somewhere close to goodness if it is totally selfless. But if we are doing for our family, most of the time we have some satisfaction, right? I can't deny that we get excited when our children get first rank. What is that makes us get excited? Whereas if the same servant's child gets first rank, we don't get excited. We get surprised. So there is a difference, right? Oh my God, even she got it. Very good. You still feel happy, but you're not excited. But the feeling which you get for your child is very different. So end of the day, what I'm trying to tell is whether it is a jewelry which you wish or a watch you wish or something for your children, though the concept can be different, but both are material. Right. And I keep telling my mom time in, time out. She always says that I'm not a lover of jewelry, which is true. She's not done anything without us. She's gone out. Everything is around us. But the fact is, the moment it is around us, itself makes it material. It is not spiritual. That's a point which I wanted to. I hope I've got it clear.
Yeah.
Right. And so we are differentiating our child per child. So we are moving out of goodness. That's the point which I'm telling. Right. So where did we go?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
so I'm reading 18.24, and that action performed in ignorance and delusion without consideration of future bondage or consequences, which inflicts injury and is impractical, is said to be action in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
A very classic example, even if you're talking about a prayer, right? Even prayer, even in terms of prayer, we've read this one. I'm just giving this as an example. Hiranyakashipu and Ravana. People keep telling, oh my God, they are such exalted devotees. What is great about it? Whatever they did was inflicting pain, right? Bhashmasura inflicted pain. He in fact went to the extent of killing Shiva. So what he wanted to do is he put his hand over his. So all this is not something great. So my only request, is wherever you've read that, somebody is walking in the fire, somebody is piercing themselves in the skin, all this is in the mode of ignorance. Because wherever it is against Shastra, it is not prescribed, and all this is not prescribed in Shastra. So we are straight away diving into the mode of ignorance. This is something which I wanted to tell you. Hare Krishna. Clear, Prabhu? So have you all scored 3-2-1?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
So yes, if it's yes, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Now we are going to talk about 3 kinds of workers based on the modes of material nature. Please start, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Please read. Read. Sorry, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Shall I read, Mataji?
Oh, yeah, you can read, but somebody was, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. The worker who is free from all material attachments and false ego, who is enthusiastic and resolute, and who is indifferent to success or failure, is a worker in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Sorry, Hare Krishna. 18.26, the worker who is free from material attachment and false ego. Right? Now, we just explained about material attachments, right? So false ego is like my body. You relate to my body. So my wife, my children is also understanding you're relating to yourself, extended body, right? That Arjuna was telling, right? My people, my uncle, my chacha, all that is the bodily concepts. The moment you relate yourself to your body instead of the soul, right? Anything which is, that's called false ego. And what is true ego? When you know that you are the servant of God, you are the part and parcel of Krishna, then it becomes true ego. Who is enthusiastic and resolute and who is indifferent for success and failure. What happens doesn't matter, I will work. So Prabhu, you were telling in work, I have an expectation. So it doesn't matter if I get promotion or not. If you still work, that makes us god of goodness.
Not my promotion. Not my promotion.
No, Prabhu, I didn't mean you. I just wanted to give an example.
I mean, if you are the boss, then you expect that jobs are done in time. That's all.
No. Expecting a job to be done in time is the job profile. Do you understand what I'm telling? Expecting something for yourself is different from expecting a job to be done in time. because expecting a job to be done in time is like a guru. A guru expects a shishya to learn. That's his duty. The guru also, if the shishya is not learning, holds a hand and makes him do. Same way, a job leader, whatever it is, boss, leader, whichever language you use, making him do or expecting something from him is right because it's a task of the job. But trying to get something out of it is different from making them do, because making them do, expecting somebody to do that task is the job profile. So if you're a boss or if you're a teacher or a parent has to expect certain good behavior from a child, right? And she nurtures the child and she corrects the child. So there the expectation is not wrong. But what do we explain as expectation is, we expect the child should go up and give you back some kind of in return. That is where the difference is. I hope I've clarified. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please.
Yeah, but that worker who is attached to the fruits of his labor and who passionately wants to enjoy them, who is greedy, envious, and impure, and moved by happiness and distress, is a worker in the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says that particular worker who's attached to the fruits of labor, right? He's so much attached to labor and passionately wants to enjoy. He wants to enjoy them. He's greedy, envious, impure. They are moved by happiness and distress. That's called mode of passion. Right? So what is happening? He's so attached to the fruits of labor. In the sense like he wants to enjoy the fruits. Now, if Prabhu, the same expectation you have about them, it's fine. But if that turns out to be that, you are going to get a promotion out of that, right? And you want to enjoy that promotion, or, you feel, I'm just giving an example, not personal to you, and they get very greedy or envious and they are not able to take somebody else at a higher level, right? That creates distress if somebody is. So that is mode of passion. Now let's read ignorance.
Hare Krishna. And that worker who is always engaged in work against the injunction of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating and expert in insulting others, who is lazy, always morose and procrastinating, is a worker in the mode of ignorance.
Hare Krishna. I think this is very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
He's very materialistic, we know, and he has a cheating propensity. He's always insulting. The very sarcastic, the superior ahankar category is ignorance. So workers. So we saw knowledge, action, and workers. So I hope you've written all three. If the scoring is okay, we are going to the next, right? Intelligence. Very important. And for a devotee, we are expecting a devotee to have intelligence. Jnana is intelligence, and we expect bhakti, automatically jnana comes in. So let's go to the 18.30, which talks about mode of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, that understanding is established in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So very clearly, to do and not to do is very clear for them. They know they have to do this. Example, I will tell you, I have to get up and do japa. I have to see Mangalarti. They know for sure. There is no doubt. Right? And they don't fear that. But what is to be feared is a child, if it wants to smoke, is scared. The child wants to propose a girl, is scared. Child in the sense of a kid. Right? And if all this, so they know when they have to fear and what is not to be feared. Morning I have to do Mangalacharan, japa, somebody scolds, she or she is not scared. Right? Whereas where they have to fear is somewhere where you feel there is disrespect, where you're going against Shastra or even against your senior parents. Those kind of things, they are there. So this is said to be mode of goodness. 18.31, Hare Krishna.
And that understanding, which cannot distinguish between the religious way of life and the irreligious, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, that imperfect understanding, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of passion.
Hare Krishna, it's a mode of confusion, bewilderment. Should I do this or not this? I don't know. I'm not sure. Should I read Bhagavad Gita or not? I'm not sure. Maybe I'll read after a particular age. I don't know which is right or wrong. Many times, the mode of passion, you are stuck between right or wrong. Drinking is wrong or right. Drinking is not wrong, but getting drunk is right. Is wrong. Have you heard this very commonly? Drinking, I don't think so. If you drink, it's not wrong, but getting drunk is wrong. Yes or no? I'm giving that as an example. Very commonly used term because you don't know which is right or wrong. you know, that fine line, which many times there's a fine line which divides the right and the wrong, and that fine line, because two extremes.
But it is, Mataji, it is same as, you know, going to a dirty pond is, not, I mean, it's okay, but drowning in the pond is not okay types.
Exactly. So many times the problem is, Prabhu, the extremes people are clear. Goodness and ignorance is the passion is very confusing. At least for me, initially I used to be like, acha, passion. I used to like literally scratch my head to understand, oh, acha, this is passion. Because the extremes are always clear. Only in between we are, right? So that's the thing. Mode of ignorance.
Muted. Sorry, I was muted. That understanding which considers religion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction. O Partha is the mode of ignorance. That means always in the opposite things.
Very nice. So the understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be religion, right? So this is even worse. You know, many people tell that I don't want to read Bhagavad Gita because if I read Bhagavad Gita, I have to follow the scriptures. You know, I have to follow the rules which are said in Bhagavad Gita. So if I don't read Bhagavad Gita, it won't apply to me. Okay, so this is what it is. And, you know, wrong understanding of the scriptures, misleading, right? So many of them do that. Like example, Buddha told Shunya. And understanding the Buddha concept is like this. If someone has a severe stomach pain, according to Buddhism, they say, don't eat anything. Don't eat anything. Only if you eat, you will get stomachache. Is that the solution? No. Impersonal says, hey, come on, yeah, that's a foolish solution. You should eat. But don't put rasam, sambar or anything. Just eat white rice. Always, no variety. That is impersonalist. Now, what he says, yes, you eat everything, but please eat a tablet and then eat. So the tablet is called, what is the name of the tablet for Vaishnava sannyasi?
Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
So sweet. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Come on, all of you.
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Hare Hare.
I'm so happy that you've understood the purpose of the whole Bhagavad Gita, because everything here about Vaishnavism is about not giving up, but it's not chodna hai, it's jodna hai. Don't give up, but involve Krishna in every act of us, right? So the concept here is they do exactly opposite, and they are in a spell of darkness. So come on, finish rating 3 to 1. Are you done with intelligence? We'll go to determination.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. So determination is 18.33. Hare Krishna.
O son of Pruta,
Hare Krishna Mataji. O son of Pruta, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice and thus controls the mind, life and the acts of the senses, is in the mode of goodness.
Very clearly, you know what happens is that that acts of senses, that is in the mode of goodness, right? The determination which is unbreakable, no matter what. Hey, don't do chanting, yaar. There's no point, you know, you just had COVID 1 week back, you need rest. Forget about chanting. After you're fine, doesn't matter. That is called steadiness. Okay. Of COVID, you don't necessarily have to get up and see Mangalacharana fine. So do you see the difference? So they are so determined, nothing will stop them. And 18.34, passion.
And that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive result in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, they're talking about the determination by which one holds fast to the fruitive results in the religion, economic development, and sense gratification. So they are talking about you know, fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification. That is in the nature of passion. Oh, Arjuna. So he's clearly telling. So what are we talking about? One holds fast to the results, right? Whatever. So religion here talks about dharma, economic development, artha, sense gratification, kama, right? All this, if you're going to hold on to it, then it is in the mode of passion. It's not coming. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Sorry,
Hare Krishna.
I got yeah. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination is in the mode of darkness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that which is going beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamenting, morose, and delusion, all this is mode of darkness. Right? Which is, it cannot go beyond dreaming, because there, what they do is they'll only be dreaming. See, even mode of passion, they are executors. They will focus. The mode of passion genuinely wants to do, but they will have some reason not to. Right? They also want to do japa. It's not that they don't want to do, but they will have something which will come. So they will have some obstruction, or they will be scared of someone scolding. We saw that, right? So they won't do. Here, mode of determination, they will be dreaming. They will be in a different state. They are always they are daydreamers. Passioners are executors, but illusionaries are only daydreamers. They'll be telling, okay, today I will do japa. So I have my cousin's wife who keeps telling, I think it's almost a decade. She says that someday I decided I will also get up early and I will start doing walking and I will do jogging and I will be fit. Okay, that someday has never come and will not come, because that's a tendency of the person, right? So that is there. So I hope you finished determination, and now we are moving to happiness. Important part. 2.37. Hare Krishna. Please read, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read?
Yeah, you can read. I think Neeraja Mataji, we have a senior member who wants to read, if it is okay with you. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, please read.
That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So in the beginning, it is like poison. I have to get up at 4 o'clock, very difficult. Oh, I have to give up on a lot of practices, especially non-vegetarians, giving up non-veg. Oh, it's so difficult. And for people who like coffee, giving up coffee, oh, it's terrible, right? It's like poison. But at the end of the day, it is like nectar. And here, please go ahead, 18.38.
That happiness which is derived from the contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end is said to be in the nature of passion. Hare Krishna.
So the happiness which is derived from the contact of senses, the moment you see something, you get attracted and you feel very good. So in the beginning, it is like poison. I mean, it's very attractive, like nectar. And at the end, it's like poison. Example, attraction towards opposite gender or advertisements. It's very nice at the beginning, right? It's so nectarian, but later it could be very risky. And the ignorance is beginning also poison, end also poison. Please go ahead and read, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
And the happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
The happiness which binds to self-realization, right? Which is from the beginning, it is this only sleepiness, laziness. They'll be always lazing around. All this talks about, more. We've done that. So we're going to 18.40. Hare Krishna. I'm just waiting. Where is the score? Score is not there in this chapter. Okay. I will take you through the score from. You just skip. I hope you finished your scoring. I will give you the results shortly, but have you put your scores? Have you totaled all verticals you finished, all 6? Now you add the horizontals. Meanwhile, we'll keep chanting and I will locate the results shortly, where the results are. 18.40, Hare Krishna. Manasvi, you can chant.
Aradhya.
Okay, Aradhya, please go ahead and chant. Thank you so much, Nandita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
Na tadrasti prathivyam va divi devashva punah satvam prakriti jairmuktam yad evi satribhir gunai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary system. It is freed from these 3 modes born of material nature. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So it's like temperature. Everybody is having some body temperature, whether it's higher or a lower planet. Everybody are bound by the three modes. So nobody can escape, right? So this is what it is. With this, we are coming to an end of this chapter. I want all of you all to go back, think and write the score. The results I'm going to give it out to you all tomorrow, not today. So I want you all to total and see and just go back if you want to make your results, but don't keep changing to make yourself attractive. Just add and then I'll come back to that. So now we are going to the section D, which is summary yoga ladder, which is again talking about the next division, which is 41 to 48. All work is controlled by the modes. Yet one can become free from the reactions of the work by acting in Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra in Naiskama Karma Yoga. So this is what Krishna has been telling us and all of us, right? So how does Varna really have an impact? Is by following whatever you're supposed to do. This work, even if faultily done, is better than to do somebody's duty. So this is what Krishna tells about Varna Ashram. So even if you're doing something wrong, it's okay. But don't be without doing, right? Or don't try and imitate. Example, Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he has to fight. But he is trying to behave like a Brahmana by renunciating and running away. Hare Krishna, please go ahead. Please chant. Aradhya, a little fast. The chapter is very long.
Sorry, Mataji. Samodamastapah saucham shantirarjavam evacha gnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, and honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. These are the points by which the Brahmanas work. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very beautiful. These are the 9 qualities which are pertaining to a Brahmana. 9, right? Peacefulness. They have to be very peaceful. Self-control they need to have. They have to be very honest. They can't be lying around. Lying means cannot be telling lies. Wisdom, knowledge, right? Austerity, purity, and tolerance is absolutely required because they will go and preach. For preaching, you need a lot of tolerance and patience because there will be a lot of different styles of people they will encounter. So that is a quality required. 9 for a Brahmana. Now we are going to see 7 quality for a Kshatriya. Please go ahead and chant. Hare Krishna.
Noryam tejo dhrite daksham yuddhe chapya palayanam danam ishwar bhavascha shatram karma svabhavajam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in the battle, generosity, and leadership are the qualities of the work for the Kshatriyas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are talking about heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, encouragement, battle, generosity. All these are the qualities of Kshatriya. Because a Kshatriya has to be heroistic because he has to have the courage to fight a battle. If somebody sees a girl being pulled in the road, a Brahmana may close his eye or he may go and complain. But a Kshatriya will not be beating. He will just take a sword and cut. Right? What we lack today is Kshatriyas. So that is there. So therefore 9 qualities for a Brahmana, 7 qualities for a Kshatriya, and 3 qualities for a Sudra. Hare Krishna, ma. Go ahead.
Vaishyakarma svabhavajam sudashyapi svabhavajam.
Farming, cattle raising, and business are the qualities of the work for the Vaishyas, and for the Sudras, there is labor and service to others. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So basically, farming, cattle raising, and business are the qualities of work for a Vaishyas, right? And for Sudra, there is labor and service to others. So what they are telling is, so farming, cattle raising, business are the 3 jobs which they should never give up, right? And for Vaishyas, I'm talking about this one. So why are they talking? Because for Vaishyas, they are in the combination of passion and a little bit inclined to think. Farming, according to them, is like the father. And cattle raising is like the mother. Farming because food, right? So father is a hard living. So that's the thing. Cattle raising, mama gives milk. So cattle raising is like that. And business. So they can do a little thing like lie. I told you, right? This cost, let's say 500 rupee. I mean, this cost 300. They cannot go and tell 300 because you will ask for 350. So they may tell 450. So for the sins which they do by telling little lie, they are okay. It's not like in the Shastra, but it's mentioned that whereas a Brahmana should never speak a lie. Exceptional case can be different. If someone is coming to kill, yes, he can do. Like where it's fine. but in the normal case, no. And what is a Sudra? Sudra's job is to serve the three castes. Because Sudra is, did I tell you the story of Eka Kalaiva? Anyone knows? I don't remember if I told or not. Right? So there, Sudra, if you give them money, you have to tell me yes or no for the story. So if he is given money and power, he will tend to get misled. So that's a challenge, right? So that's what is important. 18.45, Hare Krishna.
संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यद्विन्दति तच्छृणु.
By following these qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So by following the qualities of work, every man can become perfect, right? Now, please hear from Ishrinu how this can be done. So he says that by following this, now you have to hear, right? Because we're all curious. What here? He's just doing his job. How can someone become perfect? So Krishna spoke about this in the 4th chapter. If you all can remember, I reward them according to the level of surrender. So then Arjuna says, then why do people create demigod? Because they want quick results. Oh, then how will they get purified? By following Varnashram. Now here he is explaining that. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead and read.
येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा समभज्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
By virtue of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his own duty, attain perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. By worshipping the Lord, who is the source of all being, right? He says by you worshipping the Lord, and he is the source of all, right? Just by doing that, man can perform his own duty. So he can just do his own duty and perfection. So that is through Naishkama Karma Yoga, which is the beginning, right? A Brahmana will only preach. Kshatriya has to fight without expecting results. Now we were talking, right, Prabhu, I will have an expectation on a job. You do your job, whether you get promotion or not, whether you get an increment or not, don't expect. You do whatever you can, right? So Kshatriya never fights a war with the hope. He will have a hope that he will win. He will not keep expecting, okay, I should do. He has to do not just for gaining his territory, but because he has to kill Adharma. Arjuna is fighting not because he's going to get over, the kingdom, but because his job is to kill, because he has to irradiate the bad, right? So we saw that, right? Paritranaya sadhuna, all of you, who knows? Everybody knows.
Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya च दुष्कृताम् sambhavami yuge yuge.
Sambhavami yuge, right? So yuga after yuga, he will come, right? And therefore, why is his purpose is to destroy the bad as well as annihilate kill the bad, but also he wants to give liberation for us. And whatever we are doing, it has to be equal platform, which we are going to see now. Yes, Ma. Hare Krishna.
स्वधर्म विगुणः परधर्मस्वस्थितः स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Better to engage in one's own occupation even though one may perform it imperfectly than to accept others' occupation and perform it perfectly. Physical duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Hare Krishna. Correct.
Hare Krishna. So they are telling it's better to engage in one's own occupation, even though he may perform it imperfectly. Even if you do wrongly, it's okay, but rather than performing it correctly, right? Prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by reaction. For example, you have a monkey, donkey, dog. If you tell who will climb the tree fast, is that a right thing? No, right? Because somebody in the Brahmana should only do this. Why? Because the Arjuna can renunciate. He will go. But then over there also, if he sees that somebody is killing an innocent animal, he will take a sword. Even if he doesn't have a sword, he will take a grass and hit, right? That's a tendency because he has that. So he will anyway go and do the opposite thing. So it's best you do your own job. Example, an engineer has a lot of medical knowledge. Just because he has a theoretical knowledge, is it okay if he does a surgery? Is it okay with you all? He says, okay, I didn't get a medical degree, but can I go ahead and pursue? Because
No,
I have a lot of
Mataji.
knowledge. No, right? That's the same thing there too. Hare Krishna. 18.48.
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषमपि न त्यजेत् सर्वरम्भान् दोषेण धूमेन अग्निरिव व्रतः.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Every
Hare
endeavor is
Krishna.
covered by some fault, just as fire it is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, or son of Kunti. Even such work is full of fault. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. So he says the work which is prescribed to you, don't give up. Even if, if you are not very successful or perfect, don't jump. Right now, you may come and tell Parasuram jump Vishwa because he was a Brahmin and he became a Kshatriya. So did Ashwamitra. Or if you take, see, especially Parasuram and Vishwamitra are very exalted. They are above the modes. So these are largely for people like us who are within the modes. Otherwise, what happens? You think of others, they may not do it correctly. So that will become a disaster. So, so far, so we finished 2 sections, right? So which is talking about karma modes and sakama to nishkama, right? So we are initially trying to give up and then slowly we are moving to nishkama karma yoga. So we are now going to confidential knowledge from reactive freedom, free work through jnana yoga to Brahman platform and pure devotional service. Do you want to do this or do you want to stop here? Because I also have to leave. If you are stuck, 2 things I want to tell today. Nandita Mataji is going to tell a story. And also we have, Nandita and Mohandas Prabhu, can you clarify? There is this Prabhu and Mataji who wants to, has some doubts on the scoring. So she will be able to help. And L3, how to get promoted to L3. So we have 3 agendas here. Do you have any doubts so far? Because if you're stuck, how to do the scoring, Mohandas Prabhu or Nandita Mataji will explain.
Mohandas Prabhu will explain. I'm sorry, I missed a part of it.
No problem. Absolutely no problem. So, do you have any doubts?
On the chapter, doubts on the chapter.
Yes, sorry.
So if they have any doubts on the chapter, I just clarified because you mentioned 3-4 things at once. So if they have any doubts on the chapter.
Yes, that was nice. Okay. So if there's nothing else, Hare Krishna, 1 second. Vancha kalpa darubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Good class.
So Nandita, you can start the story.
All right.
Thank you so much. Please don't stop the recording. Nandita can come live and I'm removing, I will get out so that you can start the story and continue this, right? Thank you so much. It's a lovely story. I really enjoyed Nandita's style of telling the story.
I'm going to try.
I didn't want to overload the 18. Sorry, 1 second. I didn't want to overload the chapter. Nandita, you're not going to talk about how you're telling this. They are going to see for themselves. And the 18th chapter is a very important chapter. That's why I'm just doing 2 modules. Hopefully we'll finish tomorrow. If not, we'll try and extend by another day. I'm sorry about it, but thank you so much. We'll see how quickly we can do. Tomorrow, Nandita, confirm if 7 or 7:30, what suits them best. Hare,
sure,
yeah.
Sure.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Matajis and Prabhujis. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'll narrate a very small story from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's chapter 18 of the of one of the Leelas. I will not take much time because I see a lot of people are leaving already. So it's the Antya Leela, chapter 18, rescuing the Lord from the sea. My obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda and Srila Prabhupada. Praying at the lotus. This was Chaitanya Charitamrita was written by Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, at the age of 97, when with the help of, with the guidance of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, he offers it to their lotus feet. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was appeared to give us the Sankirtan the Harinam, as well as to he was a combination of Krishna and Radharani, and he was in ecstatic love for Krishna all the time. He suffered the pangs of separation always from Krishna. And this particular Leela, on a full moon night, usually he used to walk with his devotees in the night as well, and he used to chant everywhere all the time. He never used to see day, night, or which place he's in, whether he's in the forest or in the temple or at wherever. And he used to see the pastimes of Lord Krishna, the Ras Leela, all the time. He was so mad with ecstatic love for Krishna. And he used to be unconscious for a long time when he started seeing the Leela. I'm so sorry. And his most closest disciple and confidant was Swarup Damodar Goswami. He was the only one who actually understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not a madman, but he was mad in the love for Krishna. And he was always with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And okay, let me go to the Leela itself. Once on a full moon night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that he mistook the sea for the waters of river Yamuna. And he fell into the sea and he lost consciousness. He floated like a piece of dry wood and he was carried to the Konark temple, which was 19 miles away from where they were. And after this, what happened was whenever his disciples noticed that he was not among them, or he was, he wasn't seen for a little while, or they couldn't hear him chanting, they knew that he had taken off somewhere. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never had any consciousness of where he was or what he was, because he was seeing Krishna all the time and chanting and yearning for Krishna. So when this happened, the Swarup Damodar Goswami and the other disciples, devotees, didn't know what had happened to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They looked for him everywhere in the usual haunts, wherever they had found him unconscious or conscious in previous times. But he was not to be found, and he had run off at the speed of the mind. And they were so morose and dejected and depressed at the end of the night when they couldn't find the Lord. And they felt that they couldn't live a moment without him, in separation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then they decided to call off the search for that day, because it was very late in the night, and they decided to look for him the next day. But they were very, very dejected, because this was one of the few times that they had not been able to find the Lord. And what happened was, when they were wandering down the beach and kind of giving up their search, they saw a fisherman who was running towards them, who kept saying, "Hari, Hari, 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 Hari." And he was looking he was shaking his head sideways. He was running helter-skelter. He was not looking all right. And he kept crying, dancing, singing. And when Swarup Damodar Goswami saw this, he stopped him and he said, "My dear sir, why are you behaving like this? Have you seen anyone here? What happened to you?" And the fisherman said, No, I have not seen anyone. But while casting my net on a full moon night to catch a net full of fish, I captured a dead body. I thought it was the biggest fish and I'd be making a lot of money. But when I saw it, it was a corpse, a dead body, and I was so afraid. And when I tried to remove it from my net, I touched it. And when I touched it, a ghost entered my heart. And I shivered. I was afraid. And I cried. My voice didn't come out of me. And the hairs on my body stood at end. And I didn't know what I had found. I think it was the ghost of a dead Brahmana. Because as soon as anyone looks at it, one gets possessed by a ghost. And this dead body is very long. And its arms and legs are very long. And the bones and joints are separated, and the skin is so slack. I don't know how. I mean, it's so deformed. And it suddenly opens its eyes and says something, and suddenly it's unconscious. I I really don't know, but it's haunting me. And if I die, who's going to take care of my wife and children? And it's so difficult to talk about it. And I need to find an exorcist to get rid of this ghost. And immediately, Swarup Damodar Goswami understood who he was talking about, because there could be only one great person who would behave, who would have this effect on an ordinary person. And the fisherman didn't stop. He was going on and on about his fear. And he said, I go in the nights to very solitary parts of the sea to catch fish, but I chant the Narsim Stotra mantra and no ghosts come near me. But this body is very different. It is not working. The Narsim mantra does not work on it. I'm still so afraid. And he told all of them, I forbid you from going near this corpse, because you will all be possessed by this ghost. And Swarup Damodar Das wanted to pacify him, wanted to make sure that he led them to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he tried to calm him down. He placed his hand on the fisherman's head, chanted some mantras, and he said, I am a very famous exorcist and I can get rid of your ghost. He slapped him thrice and said, now the ghost is gone. Now you can tell me where you found this person and lead us to him. So then, and he told him that you found the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he had fallen into the sea because of his ecstatic love. And when you touched him, your dormant love was awakened. And though you're afraid of him, now your mind is peaceful. And the fisherman said, no, I have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is not as deformed as the body I found. This is not the Lord. And Swarup Damodar Das had to explain to him how Lord Chaitanya used to be so immersed in his love for Krishna, like a madman, that his body used to change. If you read chapter 17 in Antya Leela, you will come to know. And they ran towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they found that he was lying on the ground. He was covered with sand from head to toe. He was bleached white because of the beach. And they lovingly, and of course, his joints were stretched, his skin was slack, and they couldn't carry him back to where they lived. So what they did was they cleaned him up nicely. They replaced his clothes. They cleaned out all the sand. And there's only one way to revive him. And you all know it. They started singing, doing the Sankirtan as loudly as possible and into his ears. And he woke up, obviously with the name of Krishna. And he was deeply absorbed actually in the pastimes of Krishna. And he was actually standing on the banks of river Krishna, of Yamuna, and watching Krishna and the gopis have fun in the water. They were doing their water pastimes, splashing water back and forth. And the water fight was increasing. No one knew who was winning, who was losing. So he was thinking about that. And if you all know what is a Chathaka bird, it's a bird that will die of thirst but will drink only the water of a cloud. So when you hear a Chathaka bird singing sweetly, it's because it's joyful and it has seen a cloud and it's going to rain. So he compares the gopis to these Chathaka birds who are yearning for the water of the cloud and the rain. And that's how they were yearning for Krishna. And when Mahaprabhu was woken up, he was not very happy. He said, you have broken my happy dream. That was the first thing he said. People who are rescued usually say a thank you or whatever. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little upset. He said, I was standing on the banks of the Yamuna. One of the gopis was standing, looking after the clothes and ornaments of the other gopis. And she was explaining what was happening in the water pastime of Krishna. Radharani was there. And Krishna and the gopis were having such a good time. And I didn't know who was winning, who was losing. It was so much fun. And the sporting fight was increasing. And it was so nice. And suddenly, and they had a picnic and they fell asleep. And suddenly I was woken up and someone picked me up and threw me somewhere. Where is the Yamuna? Where is Vrindavan? Where is Krishna? Where is Radharani? Where are the gopis? You've broken my happy dream. And now the devotees knew that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back to proper consciousness, and Swarup Damodar Goswami calmed him down and explained that he mistook the sea for the Yamuna, jumped into it, was carried 19 miles away, was picked up by this fisherman who thought he was a big fish. But when he was touched, his dormant love for Krishna was awakened. And he explained to him that when he was apparently unconscious, he saw the pastimes of Vrindavan. He also said the kind of agony they were put through because he disappeared. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu still told them, I was in Vrindavan. I saw Lord Krishna. I saw Radharani. I saw the gopis. I was enjoying their sporting pastimes. They had a picnic. I was a part of it. And he said, yes, I must have talked like a madman because I was in Krishna's presence. Then Swarup Goswami and all the other devotees pacified him, calmed him down, told him where he was, and they all bathed in the sea and they went back home. That was the Leela. I'd like to read one last paragraph of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. That is a must to end a Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, thus I have described the incident of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's falling into the ocean. Anyone who listens to this pastime will certainly attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha Goswami, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, following in their footsteps. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening.
Hari Bol.
Storytelling, Mataji. Love.
Wonderful telling.
Thank you, Mataji, for this lovely story.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much for staying put.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, can you stop the recording? We can ask them about the level 3.
Nandita Mataji, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mangala Mataji. Thank you so much.
You beautiful dramatic narration.
Oh, the Leelas, when you read them, Mataji, you will know how beautiful Chaitanya Charitamrita is. It's simply like it makes you, how do I say, it brings tears to your eyes when you read about his love for Krishna. It's unimaginable. Sorry, Prabhu. Mohandas Prabhu, can you stop recording? We are done. We'll just check if anybody has
I wanted
doubts
to
about
capture all
level 3.
the responses as well. Okay, anyway, I'll stop it now. Thank you.